सुनने वालों को सिराज ज़ैदी का बहुत बहुत प्यार भरा आदाब, नमस्कार, salam, sat sri akal, and good afternoon. You're very welcome to the program. And in India, people are listening to me, so good evening to them because it's 7:30 over there and it's 3 o'clock over here. So everybody who's just tuned me in, most welcome to the program. Thank you very much for tuning me in. Like every week, I'm here until another hour, and in that hour, I'm going to fill you with lots of information, lots of brooding over about the world issue, the serious issues in the world, and of course, a bit of entertainment and a bit of rock and roll type of stuff. Not exactly rock and roll, but yes, of course, the Bollywood songs as usual. And of course, I'm introducing a new song today by a young, talented young lad called Turrab, Jafari Turrab. Turrab is a Mumbai-based young musician, and he will just released his single, and I'm going to play that single later on in the program, but you have to hold your breath for that. But because we have a news item, news of the week, what is going on in India, and Charmain is here because she does the best. And indeed, what is going on in the news world? This is the news round of the week. Charmain, you take it away because you're in the studio, and I'll be back.
Good afternoon. I'm Charmain Colvin, and you are listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM. On India this week, US President Donald Trump ordered a new fee for H-1B visa applications last Friday, which is more than 60 times the amount currently charged, to go into effect on the 21st of September. The announcement shocked the tech world, with the hike in the cost of skilled worker permits rising to $100,000. Panic immediately ensued, with Silicon Valley firms urging staff not to travel outside the country, overseas workers clambouring for flights, and immigration lawyers working overtime to decode the order. The White House later clarified that the fee applied only to new applicants and was a one-off, yet the new changes to the H-1B program is likely to have far-reaching consequences, according to analysts, with medium and long-term labour shortages in the US, which currently benefits from the influx of talent from India. Today, Indian origin executives run Google, Microsoft and IBM, and Indian doctors make up nearly 6% of the US physician workforce. Indians dominate the H-1B program, making up more than 70% of the recipients in recent years. China was the second largest source, making up around 12% of beneficiaries. In tech, their presence is even starker. A Freedom of Information Act request in 2015 showed over 80% of computer jobs went to Indian nationals, a share industry insiders say hasn't shifted much. The medical sector underlines the stakes. In 2023, more than 8,200 H-1Bs were approved to work in general medicine and surgical hospitals. India is the largest single source of international medical graduates, who are typically in US on H-1B visas, and make up about 22% of all international doctors. With international doctors forming up to a quarter of US physicians, Indian H-1B holders are likely to account for around 5 to 6% of the total. Experts say pay data shows why Trump's new $100,000 fee is unworkable. In 2023, the median salary for new H-1B employees was $94,000, compared with $129,000 for those already in the system. Since the fee targets new hires, most won't even earn enough to cover it, say experts. The Indian government has said the new visa fee will have humanitarian consequences. At least 10 people have died after Kolkata city in the eastern Indian state of West Bengal saw its heaviest rainfall in 39 years. 9 of the deaths were caused by electrocution in stagnant water. Residential areas and businesses in the city and its suburbs have been grappling with severe waterlogging since Monday night. Several key roads remain flooded and train services are disrupted, forcing commuters to wade through knee-deep waters. The flooding comes days before Durga Puja, the region's biggest and most popular annual festival, when tens of thousands come out to worship the Hindu goddess Durga. The deluge, reported to have brought down 251.4 millimetres in less than 24 hours, is the worst the city has seen since 1986. It was also the region's sixth highest single day of rainfall in the past 137 years. India's weather department said the rains were a result of a low-pressure area which developed over the northeast Bay of Bengal. The city is on alert with more rains predicted for the next few days. This week, millions of Indians should see their daily economic burdens ease slightly. Staples like milk and bread, life and medical insurance and life-saving drugs will become tax-free. Consumption tax on small cars, television sets and air conditioners will drop from 28% to 18%. And other common goods like hair oil, toilet soap and shampoo will be taxed at a marginal 5% instead of 12% or 18%. The sweeping cuts are part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's major overhaul of India's complex goods and services tax regime, GST, announced earlier this month. This is expected to both simplify the tax code and give flagging household consumption, which makes up over half of India's gross domestic product, a much-needed flip. The timing is opportune, with lower GST rates coinciding with the beginning of a long festival season when Indians typically open their purse strings to buy everything from new cars to clothes. This 4-month period also brings in a bulk of yearly sales for consumer goods companies such as packaged food makers and apparel manufacturers. The hope is reduced taxes will mitigate some of the impact of the US's bruising 50% tariffs on India, and leave people with more money to spend and spruce up the domestic economy. The cuts come off the back of a $12 billion income tax giveaway announced in February and lower interest rates from India's central bank, all of which bode well for a consumption pickup. The cuts, however, come at cost. The government predicts they could lead to a revenue loss of around $5.4 billion this year. But independent experts and rating agencies expect the figure to be much higher, with the strain on the exchequer even more pronounced in the coming years. These losses add to a bleak macro picture. Federal tax revenues have barely grown in the first 4 months, compared with a 20% jump last year, while spending is already up more than 20%. Indian singer-composer Zubeen Garg has been cremated with state honours and a 21-gun salute in Guwahati city in India's northeastern state of Assam. Hundreds of thousands of people gathered to mourn the death of the 52-year-old singer who drowned on the 19th of September in Singapore, where he had gone to perform at a live concert. Garg's cremation was held after a second autopsy on the body was conducted to rule out any foul play in his death, Assam's Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma said. At the cremation ground, the crowd sang lines from one of his most popular songs, Maya Bini. Garg was a cultural icon in Assam, singing in more than 40 languages and dialects in a career spanning 33 years. His hit Hindi song, Ya Ali, from the 2006 film Gangster, made him nationally famous. Assam declared 3 days of mourning after his death, with prominent politicians and musicians joining fans from across the region who travelled to Guwahati to pay their last respects to the singer. Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier mourned Garg on X, saying he would be remembered for his rich contribution to music. And that's all from me. You have been listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Thank you very much indeed, Charmain, that you have actually greatly covered Zubeen's death in Assam, which has been a national news all over the world. In fact, people are picking up, and so do I appropriately picked up here at the Apna Radio. Zubeen was really a talented singer. And of course, I will be playing tracks, not this week, but following week, because this week the program is jam-packed with all the other wonderful tracks that I have selected today. But before I move into, I might actually play this particular track, that is a wonderful track by a young man, Turrab Meli Asad. Turrab's track is a beautiful track that I'm going to play. And then I will be talking about some serious issues. So sit back, relax, and particularly enjoy this particular young man's track, which is, I'll tell you all about it in a minute. But there you go. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this track.
सिखा दो तुझे जीने का तरीका तू खूबसूरत लगती है दीवा लगती है मुझे खास और कीपा सोफिया तूने ये क्या है किया Come in, it's nice to see ya Just gonna be you and me I think I'm falling deeper I'm glad I got to meet ya हाँ तेरी मेरी बातों में मुलाकातों में हुआ मैं तेरा Yeah, I got all these plans But I think I'm falling for you Hey, I'm falling for you Hey, I'm falling for you Hey, I'm falling for you Falling for you Yeah, falling for you तुझ पे आने लगा है ये दिल मेरा Baby, come closer जाने की तू बातें नहीं करना Yeah, baby, don't go Cause I'm losing track of time Baby, losing track of love Let me take you for a ride See the city from above Cause I think I'm falling deeper तू लगता Justin Bieber I'm glad I got to meet ya हाँ तेरी मेरी बातों में मुलाकातों में हुआ मैं तेरा Yeah, I got all these plans But I think I'm falling for you Hey, I'm falling for you Hey, I'm falling for you Hey, I'm falling for you Falling for you Yeah, falling for you Falling for you Falling for you
Dublin South FM. You wouldn't buy a car without knowing its history. So why would you buy a story without knowing who's telling it? Come here and I tell you. It's not always easy to verify what you see, read or hear. But now there's help. Visit www.bemediasmart.ie. Stop, think, check. Be Media Smart. Brought to you by Media Literacy Ireland, supported by RTE.
93.9 Dublin South FM.
Indeed. Welcome back to the programme. 93.9 is my radio station, Apna Radio, broadcasting at 93.9 every Thursday from 3 to 4 o'clock local time and 7:30 to 8:30 India time. And wherever in the world you're tuning me in, you can compare the time with the IST. Anyway, talking about HbA1c, not HbA1c. I've been talking about the diabetic formula. That the news H1B visa drama that is going on in the world, which delectable Charmain has actually covered quite in detail. I'm going to talk about it in more details about that because Sharad has put together a very, very comprehensive, as usual, the whole thing. So I'm going to sit back and listen to, and you too listen to what they have to say about this particular disaster that Donald Trump has actually done one after another, disaster after disaster. This man is complete disaster. Somebody must do something about it. Anyway, listen to what Sharad has got to say.
So Trump continues to dominate the world politics. India continues to be the center of attention. And this time it is the H1B visa, which is under fire, under scrutiny from the Trump administration. Before I dive deep into the subject of H1B, I would like to talk about the concept of human migration. And today I'll be talking about India in 3 parts. So the first part is about migration as a weapon and India in the global talent paradox. Migration has been central to human history. Nobody can deny that. The world is formed that way. But for India, from being slave labor in the colonial plantations to today's globalized workforce, movement of people, movement of Indians have fueled economics. They have reshaped cultures and they have redrawn politics. For India, migration is just not history, it is a destiny. Today, over 3.2 crore, 32 million Indians live abroad, making India the world's largest diaspora. Every year, Indians abroad send home a remittance worth $125 billion. That's according to the World Bank. And this money is sustaining millions of families and it is propping up India's foreign exchange reserves. These truths cannot be denied. Yet, in the West, the same diaspora is recast as a threat. So with the controversy of H-1B, the United States, Indians account for over 74% of H-1B visa holders. And their median salary is about $100,000, nearly double to the average US wages. Cheap H-1B labor, they are absolutely wrong. Indians form the backbone of Silicon Valley. Google, Microsoft, IBM. Indians are at the helm of technological innovation and revolution of America. And yet, Donald Trump has built an entire political plank portraying Indians as if economic parasites. But the facts don't back him actually. The National Foundation of American Policy Study shows that immigrants founded 55% of US unicorns. And H-1B program has shown to create American jobs, not steal them. But then, like everywhere else in the world, the misinformation and the nationalistic rhetoric, including India, is bringing in about political uncertainty, and migrants have become scapegoats. If you have heard of Trump's Tuesday speech at the UN, he has accused India of funding Putin's war through oil imports. The truth? Between February 22 and December 23, about 2 years, the European Union imported 200 billion worth of Russian fossil fuel, while India's imported total less than 1/10 of that. And Germany and Italy were the top Moscow's energy clients, even after the sanctions began. Yet, India on that global stage is being singled out. The logic is political, not economic. It all comes to India being an easy target. And these days it is so easy because Indians are everywhere. This is not new. During COVID, Trump threatened retaliation if India did not supply hydrochloroquine tablets, HCQ. And ironically, this was just weeks after the enormous 100,000 Indians at the Namaste Trump extravaganza in Ahmedabad. And weeks later, when India complied, the US media barely noticed. And this is the paradox of Indian diplomacy. Grand optics abroad when they are targeting India and silence when insulted. And the irony is that Indians abroad are indispensable. I'm not saying with sense of arrogance, but with sense of dignity. In the Gulf, they form the backbone of construction, hospitality, and healthcare. In Britain, the Windrush generation from the Caribbean were invited in the 60s because locals wouldn't do the job. And they were supported by the corner shops of Indians coming in from Kenya, Uganda, and East Africa. Today, Indian students contribute over $6 billion annually to US universities alone. Yes, that's the amount of money the Indian parents are remitting outside India to the US universities. So therefore, migration is not a favor by the host countries. If America is allowing that, it's not doing a favor. It is an economic bargain. They are benefiting disproportionately from the Indian migration. This is the fact. But the rhetoric persists because of the narrative of cheap foreign workers. And it plays well with the American anxious electorates. And in this narrative, Indians, skilled, visible and numerous, they make a perfect punching bag. These were the Indians who were shouting, "Is bar Trump Sarkar? Howdy Modi Trump." These were the Indians who are affected today. So there is something wrong with the Indian government's approach. There is something wrong with the Indian foreign policy. I come to the part 2 of my discussion today, and that's about trade, the tariff, and how India is new slave to the economics. India has become a scapegoat. Just few days ago, the Trump administration had imposed tariff on Indian goods with a hike of 50%. And this came when American giants from Amazon to Apple were doubling down in Indian market. This was going in parallel. Apple iPhones are assembled in India. Tesla is lobbying for entry. Other US corporations sees India as a billion consumer gold mine. Yet, India's exports are punished and New Delhi barely retaliates. Compare this with China. When Trump slapped tariffs on Chinese goods, the Chinese administration immediately countered with a tariff on US soybeans and aircraft and their luxury goods and products, hurting America's rural base. What did India do? India, by contrast, adjusted. This imbalance extends into digital space also. American tech companies, Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, they dominate India's digital economy, don't they? India contributes users, billions of them. Data, every household data is with these American companies. And of course, the revenue. Yet, when the US accuses India of digital protectionism for attempting data localization, Washington threatens WTO disputes. Now, what is this WTO? It was the West who had pushed in India to sign the WTO. India never wanted to be part of WTO. I remember in the 90s, there were strikes, rail roko, chakka jam in India because they didn't want WTO to be signed. The media in the West used to mock Indian economy as Hindu rate of growth of 2%. Today, the entire West is growing at 2%. India is growing at 8%. The times have changed. But then, at the time, India was pulled into WTO against the wishes of its farmers, against the wishes of its workers. Today, it is the same WTO which is under the threat not by India, but by the West. The protectionism of Trump is against the principles of WTO. If we can trade goods, we have to trade talent. Talent can be globalized. It is globalized today. But then, to our surprise, Trump rails against outsourcing to India. He forgets that 60% of Fortune 500 companies run back office and IT operations out of India. Like we did a program few weeks ago, about 1,600, now coming up to 2,000 global competency centers are working out of India. If outsourcing were shut down tomorrow, American corporate efficiency would collapse. But this reality is conveniently ignored in populist campaigns. Sorry, India has to highlight all this, not with arrogance, not with retaliation, but with sense of truth and fact. Indians abroad continue to face inhuman treatment. Deportees, if you remember, were returned in shackles even when India's Prime Minister was visiting Washington. No US leader would tolerate such indignity for their citizens abroad. Why does India accept this? The harsh truth is, India is treated as a compliant economic colony. The labor goes abroad. It's not labor, by the way, it's talent. The students pay billions in fees. The consumers enrich US corporations, both in US and in India. But when tariffs, visa restrictions or racist rhetoric appears, New Delhi's response is silence. The world has changed. China uses its market as a leverage. The Gulf states extract concessions from Washington. Even tiny Singapore negotiates through strength. But India, we Indians, despite our demography and the market power of 1.4 billion, behave as though we owe the West eternal gratitude. This is not partnership. This is economic slavery with a modern face. This is 21st century slavery, diplomatic slavery. And talking of diplomacy, I come to part 3. What are the contradictions and what is the road ahead? For whom is Indian foreign policy crafted? How is it designed? Is it for the Indian diaspora who remits $125 billion every year? And when they visit India, that's another 50,000 crore rupees that they spend to support the Indian economy. Is it for the Indian exporters who lose billions in tariff? Or is it for multinational corporations who are allowed to dominate Indian markets with little reciprocity? On paper, India speaks of strategic autonomy. In practice, the reality looks like dependency. Are we dependent? Consider the options for skilled Indians facing H-1B restrictions. Why would the Indians living in US, the same Indians who were shouting Modi Modi in the rallies, why would they return to India's congested, crumbling cities? I would request Godi media to go around and do a survey. Talk to these people who were chanting the rhetoric in the Modi-Trump rallies. They would migrate to Canada. They would migrate to Germany, Australia. Dubai is the new center of attraction, Singapore, or even Dublin. Why? Because these countries provide quality of life, work-life balance, infrastructure, and women-children safety. Which city in India, which Chief Minister of India would stand up and claim to have the safest city for women in their state? So why will the returning Indians come back to India? I come to the Godi media's new propaganda, the so-called return of brain drain. Sorry, that's not going to happen. Therefore, India's leaders must recognize that their silence abroad erodes credibility at home. It is not enough to host those giant rallies, those glitzy diaspora events, while ignoring that shackled Indian deportees. It is not enough to cheer that Make in India is going to be the next thing of making Vishwa Guru, while India is tolerating 50% tariff on Indian exports. It is not enough to lecture on Atmanirbhar Bharat while giving red carpet treatment to Amazon, Facebook, KFC, Apple, and others. We must learn the lessons from our northern neighbors, China. It's very clear with them. They have protected their market. They have retaliated when insulted. They have leveraged strategically, and they have demanded reciprocity. And until the time India doesn't learn this, Indians abroad will remain easy scapegoats, and India itself will remain a willing colony. The fact is, the West cannot do without Indian talent. But India must first recognize its own value. If the 20th century saw Indians living in indentured laborers, the 21st century risks seeing Indians as high-tech coolies, valued for brains but dismissed as people. Unless India asserts itself, this cycle of exploitation will continue. The challenge for Indian foreign policy then is not just to manage relations with Trump or the upcoming politician called Nigel Farage or those people following the same anti-immigrant ideology. It is to redefine India's place in the world, away from subordination, away from economic slavery, away from diplomatic slavery, towards dignity. Indians deserve dignity. And this requires courage of leadership, Indian leadership. This requires courage of Indian diplomacy. And I'm not promoting retaliation. I'm not promoting arrogance. I am promoting value that Indians bring on the table. I am promoting dignity that Indians must have. And it is not all about grand speeches or the symbolic hug, my dear friend Trump. No, mera dost Trump. No, that is not going to work. It is about saying no when necessary and then backing up with power. We Indians are with our leadership in India. The diaspora, the Indian diaspora is with leadership of India. We will back the policy of India. But the Indian leadership, the Indian government has to stand up. If they don't, the world will continue to mistreat the Indians while the world will continue to need Indians. Such a paradox. With that kind of frustration, with that kind of concern and an appeal to the Indian leadership, I leave you until next week. Stay safe, stay informed, and dutifully ask questions. Bye for now.
And that's indeed a simple thing, because that's what it is. Ask the question. H-1B visa system has actually created a havoc. Why? Because, it has created indeed a havoc, because that's what it seems to be, because this is something, Donald Trump has actually, put the knife in the back of Modi Ji, because Modi Ji has been embracing him, invited him to India, gave him the red carpet, and indeed, howdy Modi, all the relationship between US, and, the exodus from India to US has been so US-centric that everybody is trying to actually emigrate to US, high-tech people and all the other med tech, tech, fintech, all the tech people from India, so-called brain drain. Yes, why not a brain drain? But they were all making killings, running a Silicon Valley. In fact, it was when one of the tech giants actually went to India. I'm forgetting his name now because it's top of my head. It'll come in a minute. But he said that I have discovered the huge intelligent race here in the south of India. Yes, likes of Sundar Pichai, the head of Google, the head of X. These are the brains of India, South Indians who are running it. Silicon Valley. From here and from Dublin, a lot of people have went to US. Bharat Kumar was my friend here, and Bharat went to US and all that. So many Indians, youngsters, particularly newly married, new young families and all that, have taken a giant leap by emigrating to USA, United States of America. Now, what the Americans does? A stupid person like a Donald Trump, what he is, he's actually, either he's putting an axe on his own foot, as we call it, apne पैरों पे कुल्हाड़ी मारना, as we call it, because his economy is run by the Indians. How can he run his own country without the tax-savvy, highly intelligent race, Indians, working in the US? And so this is a totally obnoxiously, wrongly conceived, whoever is advised him and he signs the executive order and all that, it's going to be reversed because the hoo-ha and the cry will be massive and the repercussion will be just like any other thing he's done a U-turn. He's bound to do the U-turn on that because $100,000, hey, listen, if the person can pay $100,000, why would he be bothered to go and leave India, a comfortable life in India? Yes, India has got lots of disadvantages, crowded city, and all that, but it has advantages as well, with domestic servants, drivers, lots of luxury things that you can afford in India. You cannot afford anywhere else. Certainly not in Europe, certainly not in America. Anyway, talking about all that is bringing me to the another issue that has been talked about it, and global issue that I'm going to talk about it in a minute. And that's another doing of Donald Trump disastrously backing and Benjamin Netanyahu in the war in Gaza, because war in Gaza has gone beyond human comprehension. And I'm sick and tired of talking about it because, what media people can do, they can just express themselves, they can talk about it. That's all you can do. And here is a wonderful clip that I'm going to play by, before I play that clip, it's by Mehdi Hassan. Now, Mehdi Hassan is one of the best, as I said, broadcaster, ex-Al Jazeera guy, ex-BBC guy, and one of the topmost guy in the world, talking about. He's actually interviewing Arundhati Roy, which is one of the best writers of India. So sit back, relax, and listen what they have to talk about it.
How about parallels between India and Israel? The two, of course, have gained quite a reputation, both countries, Israel under Netanyahu, India under Modi, for their ruthless repression of Muslims under their control, whether it's in Kashmir or Gaza. In your book, you talk about visiting Kashmir for the first time and being shocked by the utter cruelty that you saw on a daily life. What parallels do you see between Kashmir and Gaza, or more broadly between Kashmir and Palestine?
Well, there are parallels. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, that these countries that claim to be democracies are running these military or militarized occupations and a kind of different set of rules. You can call it apartheid. Certainly you can call it that in Gaza and the West Bank. But in Kashmir, it's not so clear, but that is how it is practiced. I mean, not just in Kashmir, in India, if you are a Muslim, the law applies to you differently. Not, it is not declared, it's undeclared, but that is how it is. But there are similarities and there are very unique differences. What is worrying, I think, is that all these big, great leaders are watching what Netanyahu can get away with in Gaza. And that is the bar that is being set. I mean, at one point it was what happened in Sri Lanka. Now it's Gaza. And we are just watching a genocide unfold before us in a way which human beings have never seen before. You can just reach for a glass of water and instead watch a Palestinian child being starved or bombed or journalists being killed or just there. And it's like we are being forced to live our daily lives, eat our food, go to school, have some moments of happiness while we are watching this unfold in front of us. We can't put it away.
Live stream genocide, boasted about genocide. And everyone's going to learn and take lessons from it. Everyone is not just saying, oh, it's a terrible thing. Others are saying, hey, if they can do it, why not us? I mean, Hindu nationalism and Zionism kind of waltz together very, very easily, If you think you're the chosen people, within Hinduism is the caste system where Brahmins are the chosen people. So the segue into that sort of fascist thinking is not a hard one to make. How about parallels between India and Israel? The two, of course, have gained quite a reputation, both countries, Israel under Netanyahu, India under Modi, for their ruthless repression of Muslims under their control, whether it's in Kashmir or Gaza. In your book, you talk about visiting Kashmir for the first time and being shocked by the utter cruelty that you saw on a daily life. What parallels do you see between Kashmir and Gaza, or more broadly between Kashmir and Palestine?
So that's what it is. It's all about talking about Gaza and Kashmir. This is another parallel. People are talking about it because they are tangoing Mr. Modi and Netanyahu. First time the relationship has gone so strong between the two nations that they have actually become the biggest allies. And the talk is going on now to rebuild Gaza, Riviera, and the luxury existence and all that at the cost of 2 million Gazan who has been pushed towards the sea. I saw the image the other day. Millions are walking along the beaches of the sea. They're going to be shoved into the sea because either they're going to be bombed because the city center, the army has moved into the city center. So how in the name of God one could actually stomach these kind of images, this kind of see it, and accept the destruction of mankind at the hands of the cruelest regime in the world, and that is the Zionist regime of Israel. Now, the world is can they do anything? I mean, Ireland has done their bit. The latest is that my friend Chris Andrews, who's a councillor of the Sinn Féin, used to be a Fianna Fáil councillor, he's on the flotilla boat right now, which has been actually attacked by the drones. So there are a lot of Irish on another flotilla, which has been floating on the coast of Spain and has been targeted by the Israelis at the moment and killing even those. So I'm really fearful for his life, and I hope he's safe and all that. And of course, Tara O'Grady, who's also very strong. She's also very strong protest and somebody who's been vocal about the thing, and with a group of people, activists talking about the plight of Palestinian people and the people in Gaza, has been on the flotilla ship, carrying the food and all that. They have been targeted, not the first time, but the second and third time. So the law of the jungle is being practiced, and where are the powerful people of the world are? They I don't know where they are. If they can do anything, just because the Donald Trump is sitting on his back, patting on his back, that keep on doing, keep on killing, keep on destroying Gaza, and you'll be fine. So this is something which is going on. I have no words to express my sorrow and my, kind of empathy, sympathy, and my heart goes towards it. Because, you see, the people like, whoever has a conscience is somebody who must move beyond the words, because beyond words, and if you do take, I've hats off to Chris Andrews, whom I know very well. He's my gym partner and all that, that they have decided to go to flotilla. And, and those who can take the risk of their lives, that's what it happens. Anyway, that is a big issue. There's a big thing. And countries like China must be motivated to encounter. Russians must be motivated to encounter. And all other economies and powers and, the people. Turkey, for instance. Turkey has got a big muscle, military might. They can actually move on, but they're not doing it. So this is something which is wonderful. That these people are there. But if they can be motivated and if they can be pushed to take some action, ICJ, International Criminal Court of Justice, has no bones whatsoever anymore. They have declared the decree to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, but nobody can arrest him. Nobody can go near to him to arrest him. So what's going to happen is quite interesting. And some cynical people keep saying that, something will happen, something will happen. Nothing will happen unless you do it, yourself. Anyway, I'll take a quick ad break. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back soon.
Dublin South FM.
You wouldn't buy a car without knowing its history. So why would you buy a story without knowing who's telling it? Come here and I tell you. It's not always easy to verify what you see, read, or hear. But now there's help. Visit www.bemediasmart.ie. Stop, think, check. Be Media Smart. Brought to you by Media Literacy Ireland, supported by RTE.
93.9 Dublin South FM.
Indeed, welcome back to the programme. This is 93.9 Dublin South FM. Siraj is here until 4 o'clock and 8:30 in India time. So the time is flying, few minutes left. And I would like to play a few songs as usual. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular track that is being chosen for this week's.
कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि जैसे बजती है शहनाइयाँ सी राहों में, कि जैसे बजती है शहनाइयाँ सी राहों में।
सुहाग रात है घूंघट उठा रहा हूँ मैं,
सुहाग रात है घूंघट उठा रहा हूँ मैं। सिमट रही है तू शर्मा के अपनी बाहों में, सिमट रही है तू शर्मा के अपनी बाहों में। कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि जैसे तू मुझे चाहेगी उम्र भर यूं ही, उठेगी मेरी तरफ प्यार की नजर यूं ही।
मैं जानता हूँ कि तू गैर है मगर यूं ही, मैं जानता हूँ कि तू गैर है मगर यूं ही। कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है,
कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है।
जी मेरे भाइयों, दैट इज़ कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है। फिल्म थी कभी कभी, यश चोपड़ा, अमेजिंग फिल्म. Rakhi Gulzar was amazing in this film with Mr. Bachchan himself. So I'm going to stick with the few songs which I've taken from Rakhi Gulzar's film, and there's going to be, and I'll be back soon. Sit back, relax, and enjoy these songs.
क्या मौसम है, ऐ दीवाने दिल, हरे चल कहीं दूर निकल जाए, चल कहीं दूर निकल जाए, कोई हमदम है, चाहत के काबिल तो किस लिए हम संभल जाए, चल कहीं दूर निकल जाए। कम है दो पल को राही अरे मिल जाए बहल जाए चल कहीं दूर निकल जाए
इतने करीब आओ कि एक हो जाए हम. This is phenomena I never understood. How can you be so close that you become one? Yes, in one situation, when your body and the other person's body merge into each other, and then you, from the distance, look like one body. Anyway, that's a thought. Another beautiful song has lined up, and that would be it, because time has beaten me again. The clock has beaten me again, and I shall be back soon next week, same time, same place. Don't forget to tune me in, as I call it. Tune me in wherever you are in the world. And so therefore, I shall be back with lots of news, lots of views, and lots of situation around the world. But today's program, as I said, was brooding over serious issue of war looming over in Gaza. Every day, innocent people are getting killed, and nobody is paying attention to it. This is something horrendously scandalous. Anyway, bye for now, and thank you very much indeed for listening to Apna Radio, broadcasting at 93.9 Dublin South FM. Bye for now. Have a great weekend.
झिलमिल सितारों का आंगन होगा रिमझिम बरसता सावन होगा झिलमिल सितारों का आंगन होगा रिमझिम बरसता सावन होगा ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना जीवन होगा
झिलमिल सितारों का आंगन होगा रिमझिम बरसता सावन होगा ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना जीवन होगा झिलमिल सितारों का आंगन होगा रिमझिम बरसता सावन होगा
सा घर बनाएंगे प्रेम की गली में, हो प्रेम की गली में एक छोटा सा घर बनाएंगे, कलियां ना मिले ना सही कांटों से सजाएंगे, बगिया से सुंदर वो बन होगा, रिमझिम बरसता सावन